What does it mean to be spiritually awake, and why does that matter in your relationship? That is today's topic. Because I do have people who ask me, what do you mean by spiritually minded? What do you mean by spiritual? And that's a fair question because our spiritual life is very personal and it's very much about being true to self. And so the last thing we want is to invite someone into our process of how do we improve things who has a way of approaching spiritual beingness that clashes with the way that we have come to see how to be true to ourselves. So let me open up more about what I mean by what does it mean to be spiritually awake, and why that's a cornerstone in how I work with couples to improve connection and intimacy in their relationship, honestly, to higher levels than are possible if you don't have a spiritual connection with each other and with yourself. So, what do I mean by spiritually awake? And what am I talking about with the word spiritual anyway? And will it clash with other people's belief systems, right? So, what I'm talking about is all right. So, there are a lot of approaches to human spirituality all across Earth. Some of those approaches go by the name of Christianity, Judaism, Buddhism, Hinduism, and others go by the names, I suppose, of the experts or the authority that said a bunch of wisdom and then people followed them. So we could talk about Alan Watts or other names. And some experiences of spirituality go by no name at all because they're that personal. And these all appear to be different, but the way that I view them all actually is that they are a collection of human perception and wisdom in the quest for deeper inner connection. Now, I would evaluate any religion in general and any person's individual experience of pursuing deeper spiritual connection via XYZ religion based on the results that that person or the people that follow that religion are getting. Or if it's a religion, evaluation of a religion, I would actually look at the what are the support materials and how do those support materials actually support people in getting real results. The results that I am talking about are, do you actually feel the energy of love, not the human emotion of I love you when I'm around you, you make me feel good. That's like a comfort zone attachment type of emotional type of love, but the spiritual presence of love. Do you feel that? Can you feel that? Do you understand that that is part of the goal? Because that is the spiritual experience, the human spiritual experience really begins with connecting with that spiritual presence of love inside yourself. So I focus on what I call the science of spiritual experience because my deep study over the past 27 years has been about mapping the experience of human awareness using my own human awareness and the material of my mentor and his book, which will be coming out later this year, to map out different qualities of awareness and how they interact with each other, to either set up an inner connection or the readiness for an inner connection with the presence of divine love I can actually energetically feel, versus Am I getting sidetracked in my head, thinking about stories? And so, whether someone is Buddhist, considers themselves Buddhist, Jewish, Hindu, Christian, every human being has these experiences of human awareness. Are they in their head? Are they feeling emotion in a really raw way? Or are they in their head thinking about the emotion that they're feeling? Or is their mind still and their awareness is focused on feeling energy instead of feeling emotion? Or are they feeling the energy of divine love? What does it feel like in their body? Where are they feeling it? Like, I've mapped all of these things out so that I understand them in any language that someone can express them. So, so that's what I mean by the science of spiritual experience. Also, because when I coach people on going deeper in their spiritual experience, the results are repeatable, and that's why I call it science, because um, it works every single time. But it does work in any language that someone is comfortable with. So I can use the word God. I don't have to use the word God. I like to use the word divine love. I don't have to use the word divine love. I coached someone who considers himself an atheist, and I coached him towards a connection with divine love. But I didn't say divine love, because when I used that phrase, that was, he can't relate to that. It goes in his head. Okay, fine. What phrase do you relate to? Presence of love. That was a phrase that he could allow himself to relax with and follow the instructions that I was giving him, or the guidance I was giving him, for how to move to a different place in the sphere of his own awareness, where he could arrive at the meeting place where the energy of divine love will greet him. So, why is this so important? Why is this the foundation of how I come to guiding couples to deeper intimacy in their relationship, and also the resolution of communication challenges? um, because this is so fundamental and it is so widespread. I'm going to talk more about this tomorrow too, more in depth, but here's the fundamental thing. When we feel a connection with divine love in the center of our being, we feel completely different. And anyone who has had this knows exactly what I'm talking about. Self-worth completely healed, in a completely healed posture. I don't mean it's completely healed forever. During the time that you're connected with divine love, your self-worth feels completely different. It's not a question. There's no question about your self-worth. There's no question about whether you are loved. It doesn't even make sense to ask the question, are you loved? Because you are loved, because love is filling you up inside. So it's a completely different experience. When you have that interconnection inside yourself and that fullness of love inside yourself, you show up differently in your relationship. And now you give love to your partner. You give love to experience intimacy instead of looking to experience intimacy in order to get love or get the feeling of being loved. And that makes all the difference in the flow of communication and the depth of connection, the ease of connection with your partner, the naturalness that you feel that moves you into the yummy connection of physical intimacy, which is not just physical, it's also energetic. So when you don't have that connection, which is the widespread, talk about an epidemic on Earth, because we're just not taught how to connect, or that it's even a thing, right? You really have to find usually you have to find that spiritual experience, because you are charting a course of deeper quest than what society proposes you do. But when you don't feel that inner connection, then there's this abiding feeling deep in your core that you're not loved. Why? Why is it there? It's there for everyone. The story we wrap around it is different for each person depending on their experiences that help them come up with a way to make sense of that feeling of I'm not loved. I mean, I had to face my own feeling that I'm not loved in the core of my being. And what it felt like for me was, there were layers to myself. There was this mental layer that was shiny. I had designed a very competent quality of self on the outside, and I was mentally strong, intellectually strong. This was my shiny outside. And then um, closer in, I had my private emotional nature, um, and even my shared emotional nature, the things that I felt and I shared with people selectively. But then deeper inside that, I had this feeling of flatness, and that flatness felt unlovable. That was the deepest part of my core. When I looked at that, felt that, I felt, ugh, me, just plain me with no extra trappings, is unlovable. So I can't let somebody else see just plain me. I have to show my trappings, my garments, my glitz, because those are the things that make me lovable. Because if I let somebody see just plain me, they would realize that I'm unlovable and they would not love me anymore. They would be repulsed. They would leave. That's what I fundamentally believed. And the reason that I believed that was because energetically, my core was our core is designed to be connected with divine love. But I didn't know how to do that. And I didn't know that I should do that. All I knew was that this part of me inside where love should be, there isn't any. And that I know now is because I was missing that interconnection with divine love. But at the time, all I knew was that love is not there, that this inner place, this secret core of who I am when I don't add anything to myself is unlovable. And so that made me afraid to be really, really intimate, right? I could be physically intimate. I could share my emotional life, but I couldn't be really intimate. I couldn't share my soul with my partner because I was afraid. Because if I did that, my partner would leave. I knew it. I knew it was true because that's unlovable. So there's that element of hiding when we're not connected. Um, and the other thing is we also need a lot of reassurance. We need reassurance and comfort, and that's what we're looking for in our relationships. Because I feel that in and of myself I'm unlovable, so I'm tend to want to get confirmation from my relationships. Do you love me? Do you love me? Do you still love me? Is it still true? Are we still hanging out? And then also the comforts that we look for to feel good, because we don't that emptiness or that absence, that missing love in the center of our being drags down our drags down our mood. And so sorry, I'm having multiple thoughts in my mind at the same time. um, that drags down our mood, so we end up needing to consume that which makes us feel good. And so relationship becomes about, I want to consume that which makes me feel good. I love hanging out with you. You make me feel good. I want to consume you. I want to hang out with you. I want to have sex with you. I want to all these things. And yes, absolutely. Intimacy, physical intimacy and hanging out with somebody is all part of relationship, and it's a beautiful thing. But when you come to it without an interconnection with divine love, you come to it in a hungry way instead of a giving way. So, and us nurturer type personalities can make our hunger look giving. So it can be very, very subtle, the difference here. But the thing is that the potential for incredible abundance of love and connection and the heights of passion and spiritual discovery and self-discovery and joy, the heights of all of that that you can go to when you come from a place of inner connection and you're giving into the relationship, it's off the charts compared to where you can possibly go with your intimacy when you come to it from a hungry place. So those are my thoughts for today. Tomorrow, I'm going to delve into needs, particularly intimacy needs, and the difference in communication dynamics around whether you come from a connected place or a not connected place, and why I stand against needs, so to speak. It's not that I deny the human need for intimacy, but it's how you go about it that makes all the difference. So that's what I'm going to be talking about tomorrow. Have a great day. And if you're feeling like you want to experience a higher caliber of connection in your relationship, reach out to me. Let's have a conversation, because maybe working together makes sense. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. Let's find out. Okay, so shoot me a DM if you're interested in that. And otherwise, I'll see you tomorrow. Talk about needs, and have a great day.